लाइव ही है अभी।
ठीक है। ये है ना अपर ब्रैकेट मैच, ब्रैकेट नहीं है ना, ये अपर ब्रैकेट मैच है ना।
हाँ, अपर ब्रैकेट मैच है। नाम क्या है इनका?
क्या टीम्स का? ये तो स्टाइलिश गेमर्स वर्सेस अटैकर्स है ना।
हाँ, रेजर गोइंग लाइव। हाँ,
Got it.
गॉन
Got
लाइव।
it.
Okay. Welcome everyone. Today we have a upper bracket match between stylish gamers and attackers.
Retreat! I like your moves. I
Well, the
like your
game seems to have
style.
come to a pause. We didn't get to see the draft action, so it's been an all-pick remade match, and we probably will be missing out on the drafting stage. But we'll soon have the match kicking in. And interesting draft. We have some Anti-Mage, Grimstroke, Lifestealer, Tidehunter, Tinker,
Yeah.
Kunkka.
As you can see, the Radiant side has a pretty nice draft. They are playing on the meta. They have a Tidehunter off lane. They have a Lifestealer safe lane, and they are playing the Tinker mid along with a position 5 Grim and a position 4 Weaver. When Weaver's Axe is going to be really game changer here. And on the other
Yeah,
side,
certainly
the
gonna be helpful against the Disruptor and the
Your
Terrorize X-Mark combo. I
and on
also
the
find this interesting that, they decided to go for the Ring of Protection builds, like these tanky offlaners.
the Dire side's draft is also pretty good. They have a Centaur and they have a Kunkka. They are both tanky. They are quite tanky, and they have a Willow. I mean, if you are having a Willow, you can always terrorize in case if you don't want to fight. And there is a Disruptor along with its Static Storm. So those are
So
two.
it's like a bit of counter initiation in case they get ravaged. They are able to terrorize the opponents or use Centaur ulti to try and get some distance created from them.
Your atrocity,
Just
mate.
what I was waiting for.
Well, we see a couple of sentry wards getting thrown in the bottom side of the small camp, which is gonna block the camp, and an observer ward, which probably will allow Dark Willow to snipe a few couriers.
And it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade. I don't think either of the team will try to contest it because they don't have any. So it's going to be a 2 for bounty rune trade without
Yeah,
any
two bounty
fight.
runes to each team. They don't
Yeah.
really want to waste any spells and waste any time. They'd rather have a good creep block instead, especially their mid lane and off lane.
And it's going to be a Kunkka versus Tinker mid. It's going to be a really good matchup in the mid. And on the bottom lane, from the Dire side, we can see the Willow and Centaur pairing up against Lifestealer. And we shall soon see Grimstroke on his way.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Grimstroke was headed. He was probably trying to block the camp, which Kunkka is probably going to farm with the Tidebringer. Because I see there's small blip of sentry there, right? So I'm assuming the camp is blocked. I'm not able to see it exactly, just around the mid lane. So maybe that's what Grimstroke was planning to do. Just block another camp to stop the Kunkka from getting more farm in the laning stage.
And
All
on
right,
the
the game is
top
resumed.
lane, we can see the Tidehunter and Weaver pairing up against the Anti-Mage and the Disruptor. I mean, it's pretty good.
Well, they actually get anti-mage down to 20% HP. He's taking quite
Will
the
they
hits.
be able to kill the anti-mage? No, the anti-mage has Tango on him.
Yeah, it's
And
an
he's going to heal himself back to full lane.
2 times the heal. I must say, by the way, you know, if you get Grimstroke ultimate soul binded and you can just use your centaur ulti, you actually can run at the highest movement speed and just still try to run away from it. So it's one way to try and counter Grimstroke ulti as well.
Meanwhile, in the mid, the Tinker is taking some nice shots from the Kunkka. So the Tinker is in a problem, and on the bottom side, we can see the Grimstroke and Lifestealer are trying to chase away the Centaur. So far, the Kunkka and the Centaur are leading the charts hit, and the Tinker is slowly getting there, pushing back the Kunkka.
Yeah, last year is going pretty evenly at mid lane. Like, he's using laser to deny a few creeps, then Kunkka is using the Tidebringer to secure some creeps, but you know, he has a high damage from his Bracer and the Quelling Blade build, so he is using his right clicks to just deny the range creep, which Tinker cannot secure if he's using laser to deny his range creep. So it's like they are trading pretty evenly, and CS is looking good. They should have their bottom coming soon.
So there is a pretty good hit rate between the Disruptor and the Weaver.
The Disruptor has a slight advantage, I must say, because he's below the tower, and tower region is a thing to consider. So he's having some bonus armor and etc.
Good! Surprisingly good!
And we have first blood on the bottom side. The Willow is able to take out the Grimstroke. Meanwhile, the Centaur is having a pretty good lane. The Centaur is actually leading the charts. He is the highest last hit hitter right now.
Right. And there is very less that Grimstroke and Lifestealer would be able to do. I assume they can try to make a kill on Centaur, but the Willow is going to thwart their attempt. With those brambles, your movement is gonna be always crippled down. So
and the Centaur is quite tanky. It's not like the Centaur isn't tanky. He has 2 bracers. Come on, that makes you really tanky. It gives you HP boost, and it gives you regen as well. I mean, if you have two bracers, you get like around 500 or 600 HP boost, and then you have 2 HP regen per second because you have 2 bracers. So that's good during the laning phase. Meanwhile, the
and he also
Kunkka
has a ring of regen, not to forget. So all the more points in regeneration for the Centaur. Oh, the Weaver is falling low on mana. He actually pops a mango, and anti-mage just blinks him. They were probably gonna turn and try to kill the anti-mage with some kind of gush and Shukuchi combo. He just gets salved.
Oh, the Kunkka is getting low here, and the Tinker is using his bottle charges. The Tinker is trying to combo up, but no,
he
the
uses
Tinker
the
is still
magic
safe.
wand, and Tinker just fakes the laser. So he plans to finish him with the laser, but he realizes that's not enough damage. Quite good decision by the Tinker to back out on the laser commitment.
But here comes the Kunkka, and he has the damage. Here are the rockets.
Rockets getting spammed. We see a Dark Willow rotating on the Tinker. Is this gonna be an X mark into Bramble Maze finish off attempt? Let's see how this goes.
He's
sidestepping, and the creep tanks the Bramble Maze. That was a close one. Should they have landed the X mark, that could have been a kill secure for Tinker.
There is a rotation from the Disruptor, but we don't see any TPs coming from the Radiant side. They know their Tinker is good. They don't need to come and save
Tinker's
him.
spider sense were tingling. He just realized 2 heroes are missing. I need to play this safe. He even pops the Soul Ring, still doesn't fall to death.
Yeah, the anti-mage is quite low, and the Weaver is looking for an opportunity if he can bounce. And the Grimstroke again. The Willow is trying to hunt the Grimstroke, and here comes the Lifestealer. And they are trying to chase the Willow. The Willow is still there. And here comes the Centaur. The Willow is able to juke. Nicely done.
Nice.
Nicely done.
That was pretty good with the footwork on Willow's side. Like throw the Bramble on the other side, stop the Lifestealer from stealing.
Oh, and the Grimstroke is trying to solo kill the Willow, and he is able to get it successfully. Meanwhile, on the top lane, the Weaver is trying to kill the Disruptor, meanwhile getting all the hits and magical damage from the Disruptor, and the
Weaver is out of mana actually here. Is he
yeah,
gonna
the
be
Weaver
able to
is
hit?
successful, and there comes the Tidehunter, and the the courier dies for the Weaver, and the Anti-Mage is able to survive. The Weaver is trying to get out, but here comes the TP from the Willow, and they are trying to hunt him in the fog. They try to do a scan, and they couldn't find out anything, and the Tidehunter is back in business.
They realized really late that there is a tree which has been cut, which was the path Tidehunter chose to try and kill Anti-Mage, right? Anti-Mage just chooses to blink out. And both the supports TP top actually. They might try to
Yeah.
make a go on Tidehunter very soon.
Meanwhile, the Centaur is having some hit rate along with the Lifestealer, but the Centaur has too much regen on him. I mean, Ring of Health, Ring of Regen, 2 Bracers. Hey, come on. That is around like 8.59,
You're also returning a
9.75.
lot of damage while you're getting hit.
Yeah.
So it's not a good thing to have. Just hit the creeps, push the lane.
But then
Move to the
the problem is the Lifestealer has Feast and Gall Frenzy, and those two are quite the things the Lifestealer need
Yeah, they
to
have
kill
their
the
strong
Centaur.
passive spells to continue to hammer down each other. One
Yeah.
guy's gonna get HP out
Meanwhile,
of it,
on top side, the Tidehunter has Ravage, and the Weaver is trying to land some hits on the Anti-Mage, and the Tidehunter is trying to cut trees and see if there is an opportunity he can jump. Meanwhile, there is a rotation from Willow to mid. They're trying to find out if they can kill the Tinker.
Yeah, 8-minute mark comes up and he just pings out that there's an arcane rune which you can use. So he's just trying to secure an the rune timing. And meanwhile Grimstroke is just sitting in the jungle.
Oh,
Probably
there is
picking
that attack on the Anti-Mage. They are trying to go on the Anti-Mage, and Disruptor uses Kinetic Field to stop them. And the Tidehunter is already cutting waves.
After the Tidehunter connected with his level 6, he's playing so aggressive.
Oh,
just
there
cutting
is
the-
that Centaur ult. They are able to catch the Lifestealer, and the Lifestealer always has his armlet, and he's toggling it to get some life. And the Grimstroke is back in his support. And
He's
the
actually
Centaur,
not able to kill him because he manages to armlet toggle to safety. And
Yeah.
he doesn't have Infest skilled up, so he understands he's not very safe with his skill build. But he can always chomp down a few neutral creeps.
okay, and the
to
top
get that
tower
reach.
falls. This is the first tower taken from the Radiant side, and the Dire side loses their top tower. And now they are trying to go inside the Anti-Mage free farming space.
Oh, he actually turns his armlet on through this.
Oh, on the bottom side, the Lifestealer is actually going on the Centaur, and the Lifestealer has to infest and get back because the Centaur was getting ready to use his double edge.
yeah,
and
he
Lifestealer
realizes
had
that
little less
he's
damage, and
about
the
to
Willow
die,
is
so he
already.
just infests into
No.
the creep.
Oh, that's a nice stun, but there is the body block coming in from the Willow, and they are able. Oh, there is that Ravage from Tidehunter. The Tidehunter uses his Ravage, and they are able to kill the Willow, and the
Thankful isn't
Tidehunter
there
is
on the
trying to-
Tidehunter, it's actually on a neutral creep, so they're not able to stun Kunkka further on after the Ravage. So that's kind
Yeah.
of unfortunate. A misclick, but nonetheless, two heroes taken by
Share the
Radiant.
stream link. Currently share the stream link on the group. People are asking for stream link.
Oh, and the Disruptor has an invisibility rune. The Tidehunter is trying to go for Kunkka because the Tidehunter is feeling strong. He is feeling tanky, and he is giving the vision. And using that, the Tinker just uses his rocket and gets him. And there is that Willow. And there is that rocket and laser from the Tinker just bursting out the Willow. The Willow is dead. And on top of that, the Tidehunter has Defense Matrix on him. And that's a really good skill from the Tinker. So now they
I
are
cannot
going to use.
imagine the amount of stuns and the status resistance coming from the defense matrix is gonna allow the anti-mage to play much more aggressively. The lifestealer much more aggressively. Like even after his rage is used, defense matrix is gonna be there to help him.
Yeah, meanwhile on the bottom side, the Kunkka is able to secure a kill on the Grimstroke, and they are all converging towards the mid. They know that the Tidehunter is there. They can see the Tidehunter. And there is that X mark into both combination and the Tidebringer.
Tidehunter is one mana, he might fall dead here.
Oh,
He
that
uses his
Tidehunter
magic
is so
wand, but
tanky.
it's not enough. He just dies. Oh, Tip gets thrown out by Disruptor, who wasn't even there in the team fight.
Just look at the graph. Just look at the damage taken by the Tidehunter from the spells.
This Weaver is actually pulling the anti-mage out of the lane, and it's quite deep. Can he get the solo kill? Oh my god, he does!
Oh, they know that the Weaver is here. They know that, and they are going to set it up. And oh, they can see the Weaver.
Yeah, unfortunately, he used his time lapse to try and kill the
Weaver is running out. They know that the Weaver is here. Oh, the Weaver survives. The Weaver survives. The Weaver uses his time lapse and Tsukuchi, and he survives. And the Tinker is able to come there and spam some rockets to put some pressure to let them know that he is there. You get back and stay away from my teammate.
That should have been a secured kill. I mean, considering the time lapse was already used on anti-mage, but I guess it's just a couple of a few things falling into favor of Weaver, especially the laser and rocket coming from.
I mean, but if you look, the Tidehunter is getting closer to his blink, and his Ravage is online again. They can fight if it is needed, and the Centaur also has his Stampede, but he is not running for. He's not rushing towards any jump, like he's not going for a Blink Dagger yet. Meanwhile, the Weaver is trying to see if there is anything happening in the triangle, and he is trying to ward and de-ward, and there is that X mark, and there is that Centaur. And the Centaur misses his hoof stun, and the Weaver just Tsukuchi's out from that place.
Even plants an observer ward.
And there is that mid, and they are able to get on the Tinker, and they are trying to bust the Tinker, and the Willow and Disruptor are able to kill the Tinker. The Tinker is dead. That's nicely done.
Actually used his ulti to run away from the Weaver and the Tidehunter closing in on him in the triangle. And meanwhile,
I mean, that was really a good combination. I mean, Cursed Crown into Bramble Maze, and then you have Bedlam into Shadow Realm. That's quite the thing you need to burst out a Tinker when he's caught out, along with Disruptor's Kinetic Field and Thunder Strike. They are able to catch him. And if you look at the net worth graph right now, you can see that the Lifestealer is actually is not that ahead, but slowly the Radiant side is moving.
The top 5 cores, which are there on the last hit side, have very close difference with each other. It's like 196, 93, 91 last hits, and they are so evenly matched. This game can go anybody's way. It all depends on who takes.
And now the Tidehunter is trying to force a rotation. He is going for the bottom tier 1. He has the Ravage, and he has backup Grimstroke and Weaver. And they know that the enemy is going to come. Their side are going to come to defend the tower. They already lost their top tower. And they haven't made.
Look at this. Pompo is playing so aggressively. Actually used the Tsukuchi, went below the tower, hit some damage on the creeps, and still got back to safety. I thought he was gonna get X mark there for sure. But they expect him to not be alone.
In the mid, the anti-mage is actually pushing up the mid while everyone is fighting. And there is that dust and smoke coming out. And there is that Ravage. And they are able to burst him instantly.
It's Ravage, Laser, Rocket, and Infest damage.
Meanwhile, the anti-mage is getting ravaged. The Dire side, they are able to secure a kill on the, they are able to kill the Weaver.
It's actually gonna get slowed down. Shadow Amulet isn't gonna
help. That's they are trying to stun him, and the Kunkka has used his Shadow Amulet to hide, but it's going to take him out. Oh no, there is that Soulbind and the lasers, and they are able to secure 2 more kills. That's nice bit of pressure coming in, and meanwhile the Weaver secures another tower. They are pushing on with
I
the
must say that was an excellent soul bind, and even the laser damage did so much in the soul bind. So they just managed to burst these heroes
Yeah.
down. Kunkka
Just-
tried his best to escape. Dark Willow threw his ult to, try and save him, but the fear wasn't enough. And there's a couple of rockets being launched. Oh, Pompo is in trouble. He's actually stunned. Lapses away to safety. My goodness, that was safe. And he heads back right away to throw away his swarm.
The Tidehunter is quite strong in the lane. He is playing quite aggressive and he doesn't have Ravage, so his team decides to back out. They have 1 minute to take another fight. They're just going to wait for the Ravage to come back. Meanwhile,
I
the
guess
Centaur
there is
has
one
his
more
blink
infest
now.
bomb we didn't discuss about. Weaver and Lifestealer can always make this infest bomb because he's so fast and you can be infested. And you think the Weaver is alone and you can always turn things around.
Yeah,
So that's one
the
thing we can
Tinker,
take
the
into
Tinker already
consideration.
has his Aether Lens, and the Tinker already has his Blink, and the Tinker has queued for an Aghanim's.
That should be a lot of damage coming in the soul bind, like 2 lasers, and they have that shrink debuff applied. So the HP.
Oh,
gets
they are
reduced.
able to catch the Life Stealer. They have used the Kinetic Wave along with Static Storm, and they are trying to kill, but they cannot. The Life Stealer toggles his armlet, and he is able to kill both the supports. Like Weaver coming in for his backup, they are coming in to save him, and the Life Stealer is quite strong.
Yeah, Lifestealer just managed to get a range and he 4 shots the
Oh,
tornado
that's a
and
nice-
right away turns on Disruptor.
That's a nice play by the Tinker. They are trying to go on the Kunkka, but the Tinker gets caught and the Tinker is killed, but the Kunkka is finally dead and the Centaur is there. There is that Spirit Vessel coming out, stopping his regen, and they are able to shut him down. And there is no backup coming because the Anti-Mage is farming and the Disruptor and Willow were dead. So the Course had no backup and they just fell to the Sword of the Radiance.
I like how Centaur just jumped in and at least finished off the Tinker to try and get something out of the situation. And does pay with his life. Kunkka also dies, tries to Shadow Amulet, but just is not able to live. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage continues to farm. He hasn't gotten the best space on the map, especially because of Weavers and
Life
Tidehunter
Stealer.
aggression.
They tried to start an initiation with the Silence, and the Willow decides to go into Shadow Realm and fall back so that he becomes untouchable.
Another unfortunate misclick coming from the Grimstroke. He inkswells the creep, but we see a kill coming on from Pampu. He's gonna finish off the Disruptor. Oh, the blink in from the Centaur. He actually doesn't miss or connect.
Meanwhile, the Anti-Mage is still farming, and he is quite close to the Tinker. They know that the Tinker is there, and the Anti-Mage is thinking if he can jump and catch him. But
Yeah,
he
the
cannot.
moment you use laser and rearm, you are bound to. Oh, the Dark Willow actually
Oh
misses
no, the Life
ultimate.
Stealer is going again solo, and there is that Soulbind, there is that Silence, and the Life Stealer is on him, and Weaver supports him, and there is that Gush coming out from Tidehunter, reducing the Centaur's armor.
Man, this anti-mage is not having much of a game, and on top of that, everyone is just hammering down these objectives. All the other heroes are dying, so it's bad news for Dire. They need to find a way to come back into the game. Once again, Tidehunter falls. Disruptor dies as well. Just before that, Lamp is used by Weaver to get back HP and
We can see that there is a 10k net worth lead coming out from the Radiant side, and they have a Ravage now. The Life Stealer wants to go high ground, and they have a nice setup there. They put up a sentry, and the Life Stealer is trying to take the ward. Meanwhile, the Tidehunter is tanking the damage.
Oh, is he actually trying to get some HP back using it?
Oh, there
Ravage
is
gets
the Ravage. They caught the supports.
Oh.
They were out of position. The Willow and Disruptor are dead. And the Disruptor buys back, and the Anti-Mage comes into fight. There is that Centaur. And this Centaur jumps in, tries to stun, and there is that Static Storm. And oh no, the Anti-Mage is caught in a bad position from the Inkswell stun. Fall up.
We have
And
4
here
rockets
comes the
coming in.
Tinker. And the Tinker is just rearming and he is using his rockets and lasers. The Kunkka is just trying to hide himself in the Shadow Amulet, does that, and he's trying to defend.
I initially thought the Lifestealer is using using Infest to just get some HP back.
Oh, here is the Centaur. Can they kill? Oh, the Willow is too late, and the Kunkka has tried to do the X mark into good combination. They don't have enough damage to kill. And now
There's
the
the
Tinker.
dieback on the Disruptor
Yeah.
as far as I know, and Lifestealer just, he's on nothing, so he just decides, okay guys, you guys can have
Me-
HP and mana, you guys can siege, I'll just chill back, get some HP back by chomping down the neutral creeps.
Yeah, they are able to catch the Weaver. The Weaver is caught, but they don't have any detection there. They need some detection.
He
And the
actually is
Weaver
running
tries
around
to
on 90.
re-engage with the Inkswell, and there is that Exma, there is the Tombstone, and the Weaver is dead. They just are able to get the Weaver.
Yeah, that's quite the aggressive spot Weaver is in. I mean, his team has just decided to go back, but he just, they are having a huge advantage. Of course, he feels the energy and just plays around with it. Maybe Tidehunter falls here, it depends, but Lifestealer just 2 shots, the anti-mage
the
with his
center
silver
just-
edge repeat.
They just
That's one way
overextended, and
to-
the Lifestealer is quite strong.
Yeah, that's one way to reveal your silver edge, and now you see one shot on the Disruptor, who is at 30% HP and instantly gets blown up. Kunkka is alive solely because of his Shadow Blade.
Oh,
but
they
he
are
gets
able to see the
spotted
Kunkka
out.
now. They are running for the Kunkka. And there is that gust coming up. The Lifestealer is too strong. He is going to kill the Kunkka. And
They
finally
are gonna need
secures
some
the
creeps
kill.
in their base to be able to take the Nax. So let's hope Weaver is able
Oh.
to get the creep wave.
Oh, the Tidehunter's build is quite interesting. He has a Blink into Deso and he has a Meteor Hammer. That's quite good. I mean, you can Ravage and then use the Meteor Hammer.
Oh, I like that. And they actually call GG. Going smart. It's just
The
some-
Stylish Gamers have secured the first match. We are moving on to the second one.
Yeah, it's looking pretty grim for Dire. They need to find a way to come back in the series. They'll now need to fight for 2 games, and the advantage is there with Stylish Gamers. So let's see how things go. Man, the Lifestealer didn't even die once, and the team attacker just falling apart. Everyone has I guess they won all the lanes, you could say. Kunkka and Tinker was going pretty neat, pretty even. But at a certain point, the advantage fell to the rotation, which was amazing from Tidehunter and Grimstroke. And Weaver just camped at top, continued to hammer down on the lanes, creeps, and even got a solo kill on Anti-Mage, which made things worse for them.
I mean, they just needed to create some space, and there was no space for the anti-mage to farm. I mean, his tower falls. It's okay, he can fall back to jungle, but what do you do when your mid falls out and your team is taking fights on fights and they are losing pretty
I guess
fast?
there
And
was one thing that they could have done is like, since you have Disruptor and Dark Willow, so what you can try to do is smoke and attempt to get the Life Stealer or else the Tinker. Yeah, sure, you got the Tinker a few times, but the trade-off for the cost of Tinker's death was way too much. I saw Kunkka, Centaur, sometimes even Anti-Mage dying just for the kill of Tinker, and he died only twice. So that's some communication and decision making error which they can try to fix. That was one of the fastest games in the tournament as far as I know. It was only 22 minutes and they called the GG. Even looking at the net worth is a bit embarrassing. Like, you don't see net worth that low even on core heroes, but then you realize the game was over at the 23rd minute mark itself.
I mean, the theory drafted something, and they thought that it would be good but in the game, when the matters came into real picture, they just came a
Yeah,
little shocked.
you're right. You're right. Theory crafting is something else, and the actual practical, where the errors and the ups and downs matter, is where stylish gamers showed how to control the map, how to get towers, how to get objectives. They even made amazing plays without getting even a single Roche kill. They just itemized smartly. I mean, Tidehunter met Desolator and
Okay,
Meteor
looks
Hammer.
like we are starting the game two between
Yes.
both the teams, and let's see uh, how it
Let's
turns
look
out
forward
for
to game
attackers
2.
and stylish gamers.
This time we'll finally get to watch the draft as well. So it will be interesting to see that. Looks like we are connecting. Yeah, there it is. Game 2 between Team Attacker versus Stylish Gamers. Team Attacker decides to play on the Radiant side, and Stylish Gamers gonna be the tier team with the last pick advantage in their hand.
And here you go. The first ban of the game is the OD. I mean, that's the strongest hero in the patch. Everyone has talked about it. Everyone has seen it in action, and also seen it in many bans that we have seen in this entire tournament. And
Said to
from
be one of
the
the most banned heroes in
yeah,
not just recent patch, but in this exact tournament itself as well.
and then we have the following bans coming out. They don't want the Tide Hunter. They have removed the Tide Hunter. They don't want to play against the Pudge or the Night Stalker. I mean, the Night Stalker is quite strong this patch.
They just realized Ravage is too strong of a spell to play into. Especially you saw how they took down the tier 1 tower, right? Tidehunter just stood between tier 1 tower and tier 2 towers and just cut the creep wave. It was Weaver who was hitting the tower actually. So that's how Antimage lost his farming space. So they just decide to ban Tidehunter and they draft a Jakiro to themselves. A bit of strong laning is what we are looking in the favor of Team Attacker, I believe. Stylish Gamer opt for a Spellbreaker themselves. Quite the bash slot we got there, although it's only 17%. Hey, you never know. It's one of the strongest heroes from this patch as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you see a Jakiro and Weaver, you already know that that's kind of they are going to have really strong lanes. I mean, the burn damage,
Yes.
magical damage coming out from the Jakiro is quite good, and they have
And
to
on top
play
of that,
against a
Weaver is
Weaver.
super evasive
Yes,
and Jakiro is super tanky, so it's bad news overall.
yeah. But on the other side, the stylish gamers, they do have an ogre, and we know that ogre's burn can take a core to half his health in if it hits him. And they have a spirit breaker. I mean, spirit breaker's 17% bash sometimes look like it's actually 70% bash.
Do you think it's an interesting take that they decide to pick Ogre after the Jakiro is drafted? Like you fight fire and ice with fire.
Yeah. You have
Alright.
two heads, we got two heads as well. Let's fight it out.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good supports coming out from both sides.
So we
And
are
if you
gonna
look
have
at
some four-head gaming action because there's total of 2 heads on both the sides team.
yeah, I mean, if you look at the draft, they are trying to play Magic against Magic, and Weaver is mobile, very mobile. Weaver is fast, but then comes the Spirit Breaker, and he's like, "I own this map. I am the fastest. You can't run with me." So they are
Yeah,
fighting.
it is interesting. They have 2 heads. You have some of the fastest heroes picked as well. My god, they are into some mental warfare, right? And let's take a
Yeah.
look at the bans by the way. Razor, Darkseer, Lifestealer. We have a couple of bans coming in from Team
They
Attacker.
picked up Wraith King. That's a pretty good pickup. I mean, Wraith King. It could be a off-lane Wraith King. It could be
তো
a safe
সেকেন্ড
lane
গেমটা
Wraith
শেষ
King.
হলে যদি ওভার হয়ে যায় তাহলে ইকারাসের সেকেন্ড গেমটা স্ট্রিম করে দিস, হ্যাঁ? ফার্স্ট গেমটা শেষ হতে হতে সেকেন্ড গেম শেষ হয়ে যাবে না।
Okay.
Oh, stylish gamers decide to pick anti-mage themselves as soon as they see Wraith King picked up, and they want
Yeah.
to try and answer the mana problems which Wraith King faces by showing that they can use anti-mage in the second phase of the draft itself.
Yeah.
Let's see how
But-
this goes. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
bloodlusted anti-mage, so he'll be farming really
Uh-huh.
fast.
So now the stylish gamers just need to pick up off lane that they can make it stand out against the Jakiro. That is a really tough lane. I know. I mean, Jakiro is quite strong. Oh, so they are using a Snapfire. It could be a Spirit Breaker off lane or a Snapfire off lane. You don't know now. You have to wait till the picks are up. But let's talk about the bans. Let's just look at the bans. I mean, Razor is
Yeah,
banned.
I
you can-
was gonna suggest that Team Attacker is banning Tidehunter and Lifestealer, right? So like they tried to shut down their strategy from the previous game. It's something that they just respect. Like okay, those two heroes take objectives really fast, just don't give any space on the map, and then they decide to go with the Wraith King. So I kinda like that they decide to opt for a carry pick potentially, which can fight early on, unlike the anti-mage. So the tide of the draft has changed a bit from the previous game, just a swap between each other's teams, and they decide to go for a Brewmaster. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's off lane Brewmaster. So
Are
you
they planning
just
to
look at
like are they planning to like throw up the Spirit Breaker into the tornado? Like take him out of the fight and continue the
no.
rest of
I
the fight,
feel
something
it's
like
it's more like if you look at the draft from the attacker, right? You have a Weaver. If you go on a Weaver, it can time lapse. Okay, that's like a second life. Wraith King,
Mhm.
if it has the shard, you can kill it. Its reincarnation pops in. That's his second
Oh,
life.
yeah.
And you got a
I have a
Brewmaster.
meme in my
He
head right now
splits. He
that
splits.
you just mentioned 2 lives. They actually have 3 heroes with 2
Yeah,
potential
that's what I'm
lives.
trying. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say you. I mean, you got slowdown from Jakiro and all the burn damage coming out, and meanwhile you got the other 3 heroes there that are very hard to kill. I mean, Brewmaster can split. That's his ultimate ability, and then you have to kill all of them. Or else he just pops up into one a little bit later.
So it's all the
So-
more difficult for the Snapfire and Spirit Breaker to use their spells is what is the game
Yep.
plan from Team
Mhm.
Attacker to try and counter them. And they just ban out heroes like Puck and Invoker to stop them from chasing them down, is what
But,
I assume.
Yeah, so now we are just waiting for the last picks from both the sides. I mean, the ban phase is done. The Void Spirit is removed. The Lifestealer is removed. The Kunkka, Darkseer, and Razor are removed by Team Attackers. I mean, those are pretty good heroes. And coming out to Stylish Gamers, they have removed the
I
Invoker.
like how they decide to ban out Konka. It's like one of the pseudo counters to Wraith King skeletons, which you can just cleave shot and then they die. And then they spawn again and then you can use your second cleave shot. So it's like a disadvantage to have to play Wraith King into Konka. So I guess that makes sense. And X-Mark is of course a threatening spell, even for the Weaver, even for the Brewmaster. So that's a good ban. I appreciate the Konka ban. Last pick, they're taking their time.
Oh, that's a Storm. That's why they removed the Puck. I mean, if you have a Puck, you cannot pick Storm or Ember because they can easily be caught out. But now with the Puck ban, they can actually play the Storm, and he is not that easy to catch.
Also, on top of that, they have the anti-mage themselves. So Team Attacker, hey, what do you think would be a good Team Attacker pick to try and counter Storm as well as anti-mage if you were in the captain's position right now? Is
I mean-
something in your mind like you feel like should be the last pick? for-team attacker.
It's quite a excuse me. It's quite a difficult time for if I was the attacker's captain to pick up a hero, because you know that there is a storm and you need to catch them, and you in your support you only have a Jakiro to catch them, and meanwhile there is the Kunkka and the Brewmaster. Sorry, they have the Wraith King and the Brewmaster. So now they can see that there is an anti-mage, and if he gets space, the anti-mage is going to run riot. And the Spirit Breaker, Ogre, and the Snapfire, they can take fights anywhere, and the Storm would be available. That's the important thing.
I honestly think something that would stun the anti-mage and the storm is what you're looking for. Something like a Dragon Knight or something would still be viable to some extent. Like, you have drafted heroes with 3 lives, right? Might as well go into the Dragon Knight and build some tanky items on him. But let's see how they go with it. They go for
They
the
are
Queen
going
of Pain,
for Queen of Pain.
right?
Yeah, Queen of Pain is quite mobile and hard to catch. But there is a Spirit Breaker. I mean, you don't know.
I'm
The
just
Spirit
worried
Breaker is
for
quite
him with
good at
the Spirit
catching.
Breaker and Storm jumping all across the map. That's even the Snapfire is gonna throw the ultimate from like whatnot distances. So that's something we need to consider. And last but not least, Anti-Mage has a real edge over Wraith King. Not only because he counters them with the mana problems, but there is a bloodlusted Anti-Mage we're talking about. And look at this ogre. I like the set. Man, it's a cute set. He's dressed up as a Jakiro. Oh my god, the memes are real.
Yeah, he's a dragon right now. He's feeling it. He's definitely feeling it, and he's going. He's going
I'm
to
so
fight
sure they
head to
were
head
discussing this while
against
they saw the
Jakiro.
Jakiro picked up. They just say, "Oh, guys, you know what? Pick me ogre. I have this set which he's dressed up as a Jakiro from the fancy dress competition."
But now everything comes into making space for anti-mage. I mean,
I
like
like your
last match, if the
moves. I
anti-mage
like your
is shut down,
style.
and then there is no space, then that's going to be a big problem.
That's
Yeah,
the
maybe
spirit.
stylish gamers
That's
are
the
like,
spirit.
hey, you know what? Actually, we'll pick anti-mage and we'll show you how it's played. It could be a thing or two because they could feel the previous game's win, which was less than 23 minutes. Oh, Snapfire actually disconnects, and we have a pause coming in.
Yeah, looks like some technical difficulties.
Anti-Mage has already skilled up his mana bond, so they're probably gonna have some kind of first blood plan. I'm not sure, but let's see how that goes. Do you think the Radiant has a strong lineup for the early game, especially when Anti-Mage will be farming and will not be able to join fights?
The Radiant, yeah, they don't need the anti-mage in the earlier fights. I mean, you have a Ogre, you have a Snapfire. That's a lot. And you have a Spirit Breaker. And the Storm playing mid, he becomes enabled at 6. He can jump anywhere. You need him.
It's interesting.
I guess
Wraith King's name is so funny. I just realized it now. Hopefully no one does that in a pro game, in especially a tournament like this. Like, yeah, just be sportive, just call GG and be done with it. I'm sure it's just a pub thing or some kind of pub meme. And looks like Snapfire will take some time to reconnect.
Okay, just look at the starting items from everyone. Okay,
Oh, we have an
can
Ops and Sentry from Queen of Pain.
yeah, and you can see the Weaver. He's definitely going into a Spirit Vessel, and we can see a Brewmaster with 2 gauntlets of strength. It could be a Soul Ring, or it could be a double bracer. I mean, I have seen that people do a lot. A double bracer, I've seen that. And coming to
I
the
hope it's a Soul Ring, man. You're playing against Anti-Mage, so I just pray for your mana. So
yeah,
better to go with the Soul Ring, I think,
and
in
then
this
if you look
situation.
at the Spirit Breaker, he already has a brace. He's showing everyone. I am going with a bracer. Whatever, I
Oh,
don't
he
care.
actually has queued up with another bracer, the Spirit Breaker, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
the switch. Ah!
I know, right? He is just trying to tell everyone, whatever, I don't care. I have a bracer. I'm going to queue another one. That's
Yeah, man, this
exactly his
baseball
move.
is gonna have 1k HP at level 2 mark or something like that.
But meanwhile, you can look at the Snapfire. The Snapfire has a crown.
Surprisingly good.
Oh,
What
that
do you
makes
think?
sense.
What do you think the Snapfire is trying to build here with that crown?
Could be anything. I'm not sure to think
Ooh,
of
that
it,
is some
but
hot
it could be
chili you're
Veil of
serving up
Discord
down
to
there.
have some heavy magic damage, or
pain.
could be using the crown just to make Rod of Atos, try and catch evasive heroes like Weaver, Queen of Pain. So it could be Rod of Atos as well. I'm honestly surprised he doesn't have the Medallion or Solar Crest queued, but let's see. Maybe he has his own plan.
I
But
don't think that the medallion or solar crest is quite a good item in this patch. I mean, I know Lotus is a pretty good item in this patch. I mean, every patch Dota buffs up some item, and then
I must admit, okay, Lotus Orb is a very good item in this game for the Dire team. If you look at it, there's a lot of dispels you can provide. There's a lot of spells you can return, like Wraith King Stun, uh, Queen of Pain Shadow Strike. Then there's dispels from Jakiro, slows, and nukes. So those you can dispel. So I won't be surprised if I see a Lotus Orb in this game. Man, there's a weird interaction I was just thinking about when you spoke about Lotus Orb. Does the Brewmaster's Brewling, the Earth Spirit, okay, which throws the stun, does that get returned as well in Lotus Orb? Because it's spell immune, right? So does it stun itself? I don't think it should.
I mean, the stun would return, but it won't stun.
Oh, the stun gets returned, but it won't stun the
I
Brewling.
mean,
I see. That
yeah,
that would make sense. Yeah.
that would make sense. I mean, you'd have to watch pretty carefully during a match. I mean, if you see a Lotus and that happens, you'd
Oh
have
yeah,
to
there's
observe it.
there's always these weird interactions, right? Like we can always keep theory crafting one or the other thing, and that's how some players put an advantage to a certain thing. Like you remember at TI10, they abused the Earthshaker Morphling combo. I remember Team Secret doing it, and when Totem is supposed to hit a cleave shot, right, for an Aghanim Scepter on Earthshaker. So if the Morphling has an Aghanim Scepter and he uses a totem shot, even though he's a ranged hero, the cleave actually does get connected. Things like these can be exploited and always can put you in some kind of strategic advantage, is what I feel.
I love you guys. That is what you sound like.
Will be pain.
So they actually get friendly, add me, and they are
That is
like
what you sound like.
trying to get to know each other, probably play some party games. Hey, it's all fun. Feels good to have players with that approach.
There will be pain.
Plug
There
the
will
switch.
be
Ah.
screaming.
I love you guys. Plug the switch. Plug the switch. Ah.
We have come to a bit of standstill. Weaver is kind of one of those heroes who can plant these early observer ward and sentry. I've seen Earth Spirit do it. It's a few bunch of heroes who really get that observer planting advantage at the start of the game. And I feel like he's gonna Shukuchi his way towards their jungle and plant the orbs. Even block the scam with the sentry.
Whoopsie! Good! Surprisingly good!
Pain. There will be screaming.
Good! Surprisingly good!
Pure skill.
Better retreat! Oh, I am pumped here!
There will be screaming.
I love you guys.
Как же это сочно! Как же это сочно! Как же это сочно!
Oh, we have run into some kind of technical issues, and the game has been paused since quite a long time now. Let's hope it's resolved real soon.
Как же это сочно!
Oh, they actually have a reconnect completed.
Как же
So,
это сочно!
looks like the game will be resuming soon. Oh, he says G. So, yeah, the game is
Okay.
back under the way.
The game is on and everyone just trying to go into their positions.
We actually have an aggressive positioning coming from Weaver, who does block the small camp with the sentry.
But the
Observer
Anti-Mage has
called-
seen the Weaver. I mean, they have already had an idea that there is a camp block there.
Yeah, he probably saw him planting the sentry.
Oh
And they
no,
decide
he
to block-
planted it far out. I mean, it won't be in range.
Oh, it's so unfortunate. He actually doesn't get a counter camp block,
That's the spirit!
but tries to reward it instead. It would have been fine if he planted the sentry to block the camp as well.
It's
probably gonna body block it now. So let's see how that goes. The orbs does get planted and it's nighttime vision just ahead of the tier 1 tower at top. Some stickers getting sprayed up to make collecting bounty runes a bit difficult. And Queen of Finn does manage to pick up this bounty rune. Brewmaster gets the other one. So 2 bounty runes for both the teams. It's actually 3 bounty runes, I'm sorry. I didn't realize Spirit Breaker is the only one picking up the bounty rune for Dire. So they get a small goal advantage for the time being.
Good! Surprisingly good!
Oh, here comes the dual breath from the Jakiro. The dual breath is a really annoying skill that the Jakiro has. I mean, it burns you really bad.
Yeah, slows you to death. So you just gotta sustain the suffering and just be mad.
Meanwhile, the ogre is trying to do his job. The ogre is trying to burn them and take a lot of hits, how many he can.
Yeah, he's already thrown 1 ignite on the Brewmaster and thrown a few Orb of Venom right clicks on him. So let's see. There's a pull coming in from the Snapfire. So he should be able to get the pull done for the big camp. That will allow the lane to get pushed and secure some last hits for Spirit Breaker. The sentry does get dewarded finally. A first blood falls, a solo kill by Storm Spirit on Queen of Pain. As soon as he gets level 3, he just dishes out his combo of Remnants Overloads with the Electric Vortex.
And meanwhile, on the top side, the Ogre and the Anti-Mage, they are trying to fight the Weaver. Weaver's right click, and the Ogre is trying to burn them as much as they can. And there is a Jakiro.
I see how Anti-Mage is already queued up for the Ring of Health straight up, because he's already out of regeneration from Tangos. So only 225 gold away from the Ring of Health.
Just look at the burn coming out. Look at the burn
Yeah.
coming out. It's
He's already
actually
down
just
half
a
HP.
level 1 skill, so it's not too much. Once it hits level 3, it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, when it hits level 4 and you know there's that talent tree from
And,
level 10.
Oh,
It
they are just
becomes very problem.
going after the Jakiro. Oh, they are able to catch the Jakiro. The Jakiro might die. The first blood might come. And here is the first blood. The Jakiro is dead. And now they are trying to go after the Wraith King, right-clicking him all the way. And oh, there is that Scatter Blast coming in. There is that charge coming in. And the Wraith King is dead. But whatever, the Spirit Breaker doesn't care.
You said it was the first blood. Actually, wasn't the Queen of Pain dying to the Storm Spirit the first blood, which was a
Oh,
solo
yeah.
kill as well.
I mean, it was the first kill in that lane.
First side lane kill, nonetheless.
But they changed that
Oh,
single
he's
kill
actually
into
trying to deny the neutral creeps, but Panda gets one whack on him and just secures the kill. So at least they get the first kill on their team. It was a
meanwhile,
good
the
attempt
Queen
by
of-
Ogre, right? To try and
Yeah,
get the deny.
Yeah, meanwhile, the death on QOP has left the Queen level shot, and the Storm is trying to push on and see if it can just change it a little bit.
Yeah, just pushing the lane into before the rune spawns, and he's gonna bottle the water rune. Snapfire is just patiently waiting for the other water rune as well. So the Queen is not gonna get a refill on the bottle unless somebody TPs and helps him with the bottle. Oh, the Brewmaster is out
there
of
is
mana.
that. And the Anti-Mage is there. The Anti-Mage is trying to go for the Weaver. They don't have any detection there, so they don't know where the Weaver is going.
This
But
Weaver
on
is
the-
gonna do the job to be annoying as much as he can to the anti-mage. Even try to body block the creep spawning at the small camp and everything. You know, disrupting the pulls and all. Oh, is the
Oh,
courier
the-
gonna die?
The Storm is 6 now, and the Storm is trying to go on the QOP. Just a little tug of war
Actually,
between them
go
both.
on the Jakiro, and the Snapfire Mookie is gonna land.
Yeah,
get
the
kill on the
Jakiro is
Jakiro.
dead again, and they are thinking that if they can kill the Wraith King, but it's quite under the tower. And the Wraith King isn't level 6 yet, so there is a chance. And meanwhile, there is a fight on the top. The Anti-Mage is quite aggressive, but they are trying to push back the Anti-Mage or try to get a kill. And the Anti-Mage
Brewmaster
is
just managed to live on almost 5 or 4% HP.
Oh,
That
there is that
goes
charge
on
coming up again, and there is that combo coming out with a Cookie into Scatter Blast and the charge coming out along with the Greater Bash. That kills the Wraith King again. That's a good combination. And meanwhile, on top, the Anti-Mage and Jakiro, they are able to kill the Pandering Brewmaster. And the Weaver is trying to hunt the Anti-Mage. Oh no, he blinks out. He blinks out and he's going to TP, and he TPs back to base. The Weaver couldn't see where he went.
Yeah,
That's
they couldn't
a
try
nice-
to trade for a core kill on the anti-mage, so I guess it's
Oh,
a bad
that's a nice burn damage coming out from Jakiro on the Snapfire.
they're actually having the creeps pushed in the Spirit Breaker's side of the lane. So they're probably gonna have to wait until they get some XP. Oh, that's strange. Jakiro gets tipped by the Wraith King and they decide to tip each other off. I'm not sure why. Was it for the stack?
Oh, meanwhile, the anti-mage is again trying to go on the Pandering Brewmaster. And the Pandering Brewmaster is quite leveled up.
Storm Spirit's gonna try to build into an Orchid, I assume, because they want to have those double lives as we discussed during draft stage closed out. So he does queue up the Orchid in his quick buy and gonna try to get the best kills out of it, something like Weaver, Brewmaster, Queen of Pain. Definitely everyone except Wraith King, unless he's all alone.
Oh, the Storm is actually coming to the bottom lane, so they know that there is a chance. Oh, there is that stun from Wraith King, and oh, here comes the Storm. The Storm pulls the Wraith King, and the Wraith King is dead. The Jakiro is still there, and there is the Queen of Pain.
Oh,
and
Queen of
the
Pain
Storm.
makes a great
Oh,
rotation.
nice!
Sonic
That's
Wave
a
is so
nice
good.
Sonic Wave. I mean, the Queen of Pain just blinks and you Scream of Pain, and oh, that's a triple kill by the Queen of Pain. That's a nice rotation coming out.
Insane amount of damage dealt by the Queen of Pain. That was one of the best rotations I've seen.
Yeah, you just do your TP, you blink in, you use the Scream of Pain into Sonic Wave. You have a Jakiro there as well with Dual Breath. That's a
I
lot
like
of
how
damage.
they decided to get the kill on Wraith King before he was having his reincarnation up. So they just dive and kill him. And yeah, sure, they pay with their lives, but at least they get some space for their anti-mage. If you think about it, that's what.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly
both the
anti-mage
cores
have.
are not having good lanes. I mean, you might think that Anti-Mage is having good lane. No, network-wise, he's quite the same as Wraith King. They are the bottom two in terms of course. Whereas the Queen of Pain was a little bit behind after his first blood, but he got the triple kill and he is caught up. So now we just need to see that how far the Snapfire and oh, the Snapfire is building into Helm of Dominator. Oh, they are going after the
Huge macro player
Wraith
gets
King
thrown up
again.
into the trees.
Oh, okay. Oh no, that
The
was
Wraith King is gonna live?
very. Yeah, the Wraith King survives and ends up giving the Queen of Pain 2 more kills.
That was great macro power by Jakiro as well. Allowed the damage to be dealt on the Snapfire. Even Spirit Breaker had his path blocked up.
Oh no,
Anti-Mage
there
lives,
is that Ogre
just
trying
gets
to
back
block
game.
and Ogre is going to stun, I guess. Oh no, the burn damage would actually kill him and the burn damage is enough from the Ogre that kills him.
With just 2 points in burn damage of Ignite, he's still able to secure the kill. And that's pretty neat. Anti-Mage was getting bothered a lot by Weaver in the lane. So that's over for getting that part cleaned up and making some things easy for the Anti-Mage.
The Queen of Pain is actually going towards his Orchard as well. Oh,
Yeah, suddenly Queen of Pain is at the top of the network charts.
oh, there is a
and has
charge
bottled
coming
an
out from
Arcane.
the Spirit Breaker and the Storm Spirit is trying to catch and there is that charge. There is that Ogre Burn Ignite and there is that ultimate of Nether Strike coming out from Spirit Breaker. Meanwhile, the Jakiro is there. There is that Scatter Blast coming out from Snapfire. The Snapfire is just right clicking and there is no charge. They're just waiting for the charge and the Wraith King comes into the mid to protect and there is that charge coming in and that could lead us. Oh, that's a greater bash and the Weaver is there. That they know that the Weaver is there. There is that Wraith King's Wraith Blast and they have cornered the Weaver and the Snapfire is going to die but he just cookie jumps
It
and there
dies
is
on
the
the low
Panda
ground
coming
from
in
there. He's
and there is that
making some
rotation
amazing
coming in
moves.
from the Panda. I mean, they forced the Wraith King, they forced the Panda all to come to the mid lane. They were fighting, meanwhile the Anti-Mage is farming, the Anti-Mage is moving up in terms of net worth. That's really good. That's a really good fight. I mean, they're forcing a lot of rotation from the Radiant side. And there is that Siege Weave pushing on to lanes, and the Spirit Breaker is trying to take away the creeps away so that there could be more and more creeps. But meanwhile, the Weaver is there. It just Sukuchis through the entire creep wave and then it's trying to secure as much farm as it can and
Oh, the
keep
game
the
goes to
tower
ball game,
alive.
and Spirit Breaker's gonna disconnect after getting those valuable kills he got, especially getting the Queen of Pain killed over there. I liked how they use the charge, then use a snap for key, and then they finish him off with a Nether Strike. So he even popped his Arcane Rune. So Queen of Pain dying is using his Arcane Rune and then achieving nothing and dying is something else. Could have used the Arcane Rune and saved it at least, but I guess it's just misfortune. Especially your nerves are tickled when a Spirit Breaker, an angry space cow, is charging towards you.
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Just we'll just take this momentarily technical pause into seeing how the itemizations are turning out. If you look at the Weaver, I mean, you can see the Urn of Shadows, which can later be turned into a Spirit Vessel, and there is a Magic Wand that has been queued. And the Spirit Breaker has his Shadow Blade queued, but he already has a Phase Boot, Windlace, and 2 Bracer that makes him really tanky. Really tanky. And the Wraith King, he has his Phase Boot, Bracer, and
Yeah,
he
and
is trying
we
to.
were discussing what is the Snap for gonna queue as an item. He actually has
Oh,
the Helm
he.
of Dominator.
Yeah, I did tell it during the last fight at the bottom. I saw he has the. He was going for the Helm of Dominator, and now
So
they have Modigam.
neither Lord of
Yeah.
Heroes or Veil of Discord as we were expecting.
Mhm.
Damn.
So-
Gonna make some micro plays out of the neutral creep, buffing up the team with some auras.
Yeah,
And
and if
allies.
you see the Wraith King is actually
Absolutely perfect.
moving, going towards his Armnet. Meanwhile, the Ogre has his Soul Ring with him, and the Ogre has queued for. I mean, if I see that, that's
Absolutely
the Ogre is
perfect.
actually going for a Lotus. If you see that, after his Aether Lens. And the Queen of Pain is a little bit of money away from his Orchid. And if you see, the Anti-Mage has his Battle Fury completed. And I think the Anti-Mage next. Oh no, the Anti-Mage is still lacking the one more item, I think. And that's probably the Void Stone.
Should be closing on the Battle Fury soon, but it
Yeah.
will take some time. Next couple of minutes, especially the amount of space Spirit Breaker is creating for his side. So that
Yeah.
was good.
Once
I
the
like how
Anti-Mage
much
gets the
impact
Battle Fury, it's going
Vampire
to
did.
farm a lot.
I am a bit stoked to see a Bracer coming from the Jakiro. So Weaver is gonna go for the Spirit Vessel too, I'm assuming, because I see that Vitality booster. And we have a couple of questions coming in for the pause. So let's see how this goes. They are just counting the seconds on the clock, I think.
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I like your moves. I like your style. Friend! Hello, friend!
So we have 9 minutes remaining for the pause timer to expire. And if he doesn't reconnect, so we are just the opponents are allowed to play on the objection basis, like it's taking too long, so can we continue it as 4v5 until the Spirit Breaker continues? That's what the rule is like, is what I know, right?
Yeah.
Alright. I think so. Dire do have an advantage of having a game because they did win the game 1. So game 2 wouldn't be a problem, but yeah, if Spirit Breaker is not reconnecting in time, I can just imagine it to be like one of the ranked games in which one of your crucial heroes, a core hero, disconnects. So it causes a bit of problem to try and take more farm and objective all across the map.
There will be pain. There will be screaming.
What are we laughing about?
Absolutely perfect.
Man, the funny part I gotta admit is that Jakiro's caps lock are on, so he does seem a bit retaliated or angry. I don't know what to say. A bit of heat brewing up into the game too.
I'm just trying to look at the network. The Arm has caught up to the Queen of Pain. The Spirit Breaker is as good as the Anti-Mage, and the Wraith King is having a hard time. He is the last core that is getting enough farm.
Right. And I gotta say this, although Anti-Mage and Wraith King are not having much farm, Wraith King actually did die a couple of times in the lane. Whereas Anti-Mage didn't die in the lane, but it suffered quite a lot of damage from the Weaver. I mean, it was a difficult lane, Brew and Weaver, so that's a lot of right-click damage and a lot of physical magical damage. He did manage to dive on Brewmaster, and then he has to make the TP back to base, so he had to like miss a few CS that time.
Yeah.
Spirit Breaker has finally showed up. We are probably down to 4 minutes left to reconnect. I mean like pause time. So they are just gonna resume. They don't even ask if, can we resume now or whatsoever. So I'm still assuming Spirit Breaker is, yeah, he's back. He's back for sure. I see him moving.
Oh, the Snapfire has the Centaur creep, and it's Warstown. That's some
Yeah, so
really
he's
good
gonna make some
micro
micro
play.
plays. Oh, so that's why he has gone for the HOD build. I like it. He's actually gonna use the
Oh,
Helm
there
of
is that
Dominator
Weaver. They
creep
are able to
stun.
see it, and there is that Jakiro. There is that Burn coming out.
I'm
That's
assuming
a
a Spirit
4-man
Breaker has
rotation
not,
coming in,
not reconnected.
and
Do
they
you
have
feel like the
busted it.
Spirit Breaker is still facing network
Oh,
issues?
that's a nice micro coming out from the Snapfire, but
Goodness. This
the Jakiro is thinking that it's time for revenge, and there is the right spot catch, and the Weaver just Sukuchis to the front of him. And the Centaur creep is still there. I mean, it's totally not dead, it's alive and it's running. The Storm has his Orchid ready, and the Queen of Pain is still farming for his Orchid. Meanwhile, the Anti-Mage is almost close to his Battle Fury, like he needs another 700 gold for the Void Stone. The Jakiro is trying to move to the top, and
that was amazing. The Helm of Dominator micro plays. You have a cookie and then another follow-up stun in an AoE. How good is that? I'm gonna say it's an innovative build, the Helm of Dominator. He even has the Keen Optic to get the mana regen and cast range on the Snapfire cookie. Spirit Breaker once again disconnects. I am very sure he was having a network issue. You know, when he died, he just stood there in the macro pyre. So I felt like he was disconnected or having some kind of packet loss.
I mean, if the pause timer is over, then they would probably have to play
4v5?
like, yeah, 4v5.
Oh, that's gonna be very difficult. They can just man up, and you know, like we discussed during the draft phase, they have their extra lives, Weaver, Brewmaster, Wraith King. So they would just decide to group up and just start pushing on the towers. That would be a bit of problem if the pause timer runs out. It's definitely something we will have some trouble with. And I guess you can't blame it. At the end of the day, we do face a lot of network issues and power cut issues and external factors. So can't help it, I guess.
It is 13 minutes into the game and attackers have not taken anything. 3 members of attackers team have not taken neutral items.
Yeah, and I also want to point out one more thing. There is Helm of Ironville and Blades of Attack in the Wraith King's backpack, right? Instead of having the Tango swapped out. So, like, what is he thinking? I can see Weaver and Jakiro's items are being delivered in courier, but Wraith King's probably having Blades of Attack and Helm of Ironville inside of his active items, and that's pretty confusing.
Good, surprisingly good.
It's in the stash, alright. That's my bad. The way it looked like, it felt like it was in his backpack on the score sheet.
Absolutely perfect.
And he's having Quelling Blade put in the backpack instead of Tango. That's like 12 extra damage you do to neutral creeps and lane creeps. Kind of a mismanagement, if you ask me. These micro plays or these micro things help you farm faster. So maybe if you're aware as a Wraith King, you should be able to put it up. And the Spirit Breaker reconnects and there's an instant unpause coming. So hopefully the network issues are resolved for Spirit Breaker, because we need to have some 5v5 action or the Jakiro gets blown up. And there's...
This is the thing I was talking about. I mean, the Storm Spirit jumping in and the Spirit Breaker charging in. That's quite fast. And if the Queen of Pain
He actually
tries
says
to...
sorry after getting a kill on the Jakiro. I'm not sure if it's just the timing of the death and I don't know what to say. He actually charges at mid on the Weaver. What is gonna happen next? This
You
Weaver
can
in a
see
bit
the
of trouble.
Weaver is coming really fast, and oh, that's a misplay on the Snapfire's part on the Cookie. They were trying to combo.
Now the Orchid does get thrown up and the Weaver is definitely dead here. Whoa,
Oh,
we
here
even
are
have some
the
Snapfire
Mortimer
ult.
Kisses coming in to scout the area if there were any TPs coming in, and there was no TP. And the Pandaren Brewmaster has to move in because the mid is getting taken and they cannot lose the mid tower, and the Pandaren Brewmaster just throws his Cinder Brew and he still has his Drunken Brawler and Thunderclap. And the Raid King
Finally,
is...
there's a lot of fire thrown up at the mid lane. It's Macropyre we are speaking about. They do want to defend this tower. It's gonna keep the map control intact, especially Spirit Breaker charging at bottom is gonna get some creeps and get some farm XP.
Yeah, but the Spirit Breaker is actually going for a Swift Blink. And on the mid, there is the Ogre. He's trying to defend the tower. He's trying to burn the Jakiro to smithereens, and the Jakiro is not quite good at responding to that. I mean, he's waiting for his chance to burn them.
Swift Blink on Spirit Breaker would actually be such a good item because there is more movement speed and attack speed, right? So all the more bash damage and bash retaliation coming from the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, and the Siege Weave is actually trying to take the tower slowly, and there is that Weaver, Queen of Pain Silence, there is that Ice Path, there is that Sukuchi damage, and there is that
The Sonic Wave is gonna get
Sonic Wave
thrown
is
up.
going to connect, and meanwhile they can see that there are 3 heroes that TP to the bottom, and the mid tower is really low, so they have no other option but to allow the mid. So they have lost 2 towers for a single trade of Spirit Breaker. That's a lot of space taken out. I mean, if you lose your bottom tower, if you lose your mid tower, your opponent has like the entry point to your neutral camps, and that's what they're doing. They are trying to jump in, and there is that. Oh no, there is that magic damage coming in from Jakiro. Macropyre into the Ice Path, into the Dual Breath, and the Ogre is dead, and the Pandaren Brewmaster is dead. Meanwhile, they are trying to catch the Snapfire.
Oh,
The
huge critical strike gets thrown up by the Wraith King, and Storm Spirit has successfully made the escape. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage was farming. The whole time he had the Battle Fury. Ever since Spirit Breaker died, he has been farming the jungle. So,
But
gonna have the
this
flash farming
fight
speed.
was really good for the Radiant side. I mean, the Wraith King. He took this
Certainly.
time to take the bottom tower. That's some space, and he also managed to go in and secure a kill.
Yes.
So he is getting
Wraith
all
King and
caught up.
Anti-Mage seem to have finally caught up back into their farming and killing patterns, unlike their early game demise, which was so impactful from the rotations from both the teams.
Friend.
And the Spirit Breaker is trying to go for the bottom tower because it's already at like it's only having a little bit of life, around 1%. And there is that Weaver. He is trying to protect it, and the Weaver is going to deny the tower.
Yes, get successful on the denying last hit. He's probably gonna see Spirit Breaker just beside of him. No, he actually blinks away and then charges away. Where is he charged at? Is he charged on somebody?
The
No,
Queen
he
of
cancels
Pain,
that.
he was charging on the Queen
That's
of
too
Pain.
deep.
Yeah, he decided to stop, and right now the Anti-Mage is forming the top tower, near the top tower, and he has queued his Manta.
Yes, I did see the Blade of Alacrity on him. So he's very close to his Yasha and Manta.
Oh, there
Stance.
is that fight, and they're trying to kill the Ogre. The Ogre is finally dead. The Snapfire is there. And
Oh, this is interesting. He actually uses charge and then blinks back to safety after bashing
nice. The
everyone.
Spirit Vessel charge is actually putting the supports in a lot of problem, and they are trying to kill the Queen of Pain. The Queen of Pain is trying to run away, and the Queen of Pain is dead, and there is the Pandas.
the Orchid is the finishing blow on the Brewmaster
Oh,
comes back to life. So
they have
decide to
caught
kill
on
him.
the Panda, and the Panda is trying to run. The Panda is trying to run away. The anti-mage
The
blinks and
Bash
kills the
cancels the
Panda.
TP on Jakiro at mid lane. After he threw his macro fire, he made a
Oh, they have
brave
actually
attempt.
caught up the Weaver, and there is that silence from Orchid on the Weaver. The fire blast from the Ogre to stop the Weaver, and the Weaver is dead. It looks like the anti-mage is finally coming into fights and showing his worth in fights.
Oh, Wraith King actually secures the top tower with the skeleton spawns. And
Yeah, the Wraith King has been doing that. He has been letting his skeletons do his dirty bidding.
farming and dirty business of farming other side of the map, getting some tower last hits.
Oh, the Queen
Gonna-
of Pain actually sees the Ogre. The Ogre is silenced, but the Ogre is too tanky. You cannot kill him with that silence and that poison damage. He's way too tanky.
It's so interesting to see the Bloodlust maxed out. He knows that it's Bloodlust he needs to max for the anti-mage to get really fast hitting, farming, creeps, heroes, everything. So he does go for all 4 points in the Bloodlust. So Weaver actually scouts the anti-mage, gives him a bit of poke. Ultimate Orb picked up by the anti-mage, and he's only 400 gold away from the Mantis.
I think there is gonna be a smoke and smoke action, but are they going to do that?
Real soon. Yes, certainly.
The Panda has his axe queued. I mean, he's almost there. He just needs 2 more items. And they can see the Ogre there.
Actually, might
And
be able
everyone
to
is ready. The Ogre stuns the
make a
Panda,
huge
but the
save.
Ogre dies. And there is that Spirit Breaker charge, and the fight is all over. I mean, everyone is penned out. It's a support for support trade. Meanwhile, the anti-mage is trying to go on the Pandaren Brewmaster. The Pandaren Master uses his ultimate skill, and there is that charge. They are jumping onto the Weaver. The Weaver is dead, and they jump instantly behind the Queen of Pain, and the Queen of Pain misses his Sonic Wave, and there comes the Wraith King, and he is trying to fight. He has no mana. He is dead.
As soon as there's a stun casted by the Wraith King, without no mana, there is no second life, and anti-mage has started to show up hugely.
And they are trying
All
to
these-
kill the Pandaren Brewmaster. There is that charge coming in. The Mortimer Kisses are doing him slow down and a lot of damage. And the Queen of Pain is actually burning in the Mortimer Kisses. There is a BKB from the Storm Spirit. The Storm Spirit pulls in the Queen of Pain, and the Queen of Pain is finally dead. And the Jakiro is trying to Ice Path and burn the... burn the
Yeah,
Spirit Breaker.
they
The
just
Spirit
try
Breaker is
to
running away.
get some return kills, but they are just not able to finish them. Especially Spirit Breaker is too tanky. Storm Spirit, yeah, he managed to dive in deep, but he manages to finish the Queen of Pain and then walk back to safety out of the Ice Path's range. So he just
And,
makes a TP back to base.
And with this fight, the anti-mage comes on top. And if you see the fight recap, just look at how much the Dire side has gained from the fight.
I remember there was a fortification forced out as well when the creeps were hitting the tier 2 tower at the same time when QOP and Storm Spirit had their fight going on, to which QOP fell victim to death. So we come back to the stage of mid game where things are going a bit passive. Everyone is just trying to complete their items, wait for spells cool down. I'm very sure Wraith King must be realizing like how the second life needs to be.
Oh, they're trying to catch the Jakiro, but
Jakito's actually dead, and they try to make a go on the.
oh, that's a nice right click, and the BKB is about to end. Will he be able to TP? He is. And they have missed the Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, on the top, the Queen of Pain is dead. They are able to combo him up with the anti-mage, and there is that Wraith King. He's trying to fight for mana alone. Can he do that? He doesn't have mana, and he's just dead.
That's gonna be a single life, and he's dead once again. And while he was right-clicking down the anti-mage, even the spawned skeletons is what he chunked down to death. That's just unfortunate. We have a Wraith King Aghanim shard queued up. He just realizes like two of the times he died previously, he was having no mana. So now he realizes anti-mage needs to be countered. So shift queues the Aghanim shard straight away.
Allies where I can.
Oh, that's an interesting take. Anti-mage is actually queuing up the Satanic instead of the usual Eye of Skadi which we get to see. So he's gonna be a tanky beefy boy.
There is that fight in mid. They catch up the Queen of Pain, the Mortimer Kisses, the BKB, Static Remnant into Electric Vortex, and the Ball of Lightning combination, along with the
They
Spirit.
even blow up the creep wave which just came towards the tier 2 tower. So they're gonna try to get heavy amount of damage dealt to the tier 2 tower.
Oh, they are able to see the Ogre, and the Ogre is actually dead with magical damage. And they are
Ogre
trying
sure
to
looked
now
dead,
catch the
was-
Snapfire. There is the Spirit Vessel dropped on the Snapfire, and the Snapfire is
That's
found,
thrown on him
and
and
there is
stunned.
that
He is slowed
Ice Path and
stunned to
Sukuchi
death.
combination on the Snapfire.
Better retreat! Retreat! Friend! Hello, friend!
But at this moment, they are trying to just try to hold on to the game, because the Dire side is already having a 15k net worth lead, and they have
25 minutes
control
Titanic from
over
the
a lot of the
anti-mage.
map.
My goodness, he's farmed quite heavily. He's 15k net worth right now, and he's level 20. He's gonna make some high impact plays. I'm assuming.
Oh, here comes the charge. They are able to catch the Pandaren Master. That's a nasty combination. The charge into the Ball of Lightning and the anti-mage jumping in. That's a really bad combination that you are going to see. I mean, it's
Yeah, and he
fast,
straight
it's
up
deadly,
heads
and it's mana burning.
towards the Radiant Triangle. He just doesn't want the Wraith King to catch up on the same farm which he has. So he decides to farm their side of the jungle. Aggressive play coming from anti-mage.
Absolutely perfect.
Oh, they are
Even
able to
decide to
catch the Spirit
head down
Breaker,
and
and the Spirit Breaker tries to charge out. There is that storm coming in. The silence on the Weaver, and the Queen of Pain is there. The storm is trying to kill the Queen of Pain next. And the Wraith King is actually dead. No, the Wraith King survives, and the
Oh, he
action
blinks
is
out.
used. The Queen of Pain can't handle it all. And the Wraith King is going for his second death, and he is dead. And the Mortimer Kisses are committed into the Pandaren Brewmaster. And the Pandaren Brewmaster is good so far. And Anti-Mage and Spiritbreaker, they try to
Oh,
go
the
on the
Ice Path
Pandaren
actually stops the
Brewmaster.
charge.
Yeah.
So that's kind of unfortunate. He actually does have another split, but I guess they will take the tower first, then decide to fight. And Anti-Mage heads back to the creep wave. He takes a U-turn and goes on the Brewmaster straight up, who has been used Orchid upon. Mana Void's gonna finish this kill, and they decide to go even further on Jakiro. Weaver's gonna throw the swarm, but the Anti-Mage is not worried about it at all. He's almost beside the foothills of the fountain, but I guess you need to hit your tier 2 tower first. And that's exactly what they decide to do. Storm makes an escape for the base. He has no mana, so decides to head back to the base, as did Spirit Breaker. And yeah, Spirit Breaker joined the fight real quick after ETB base. There is a smoke coming from the Queen of Pain. There is a charge coming in. The charge is on Queen of Pain. It's a swift blink charge, so it's gonna be a high movement speed charge. Spirit Breaker is thinking of using the ultimate on Queen of Pain, but he decides to go back as soon as he sees the 5 heroes. Wraith King decides to stand in front, clear the creep wave. The Dire have used their own smoke. They decide to channel the outpost while being smoked, and it's something that Radiant are aware about, so they decide to go back.
There is the
Head back to
charge
safety.
coming in from Pandaren Brewmaster. They are able to kill the Panda. There is the
he
Panda
actually gets
actually
the
uses
split
his
out.
ultimate, and he spins. Oh, there
A
is the
huge ice
Knuckle Fire
path.
Flyer. there is that ice path, and they are able to
Finally,
get
Spirit
the
Breaker is
Spirit
dead.
Breaker. The Storm comes in. The Storm is trying to kill the Queen of Pain, and they are trying to kill the Anti-Mage, but the Anti-Mage turns on his Satanic, and he is trying to kill the Panda. And the
The
Jakiro
Brewmaster
is doing
successfully
all he
escaped.
can to stop them, and
Meanwhile, the
The
Anti-Mage
Anti-Mage
continues
is-
to hammer down the Jakiro. Jakiro tries to juke, but Anti-Mage uses his Battle Fury and just cuts the tree. Says no juking today, and heads straight up to Wraith King, who's
they
the
are
only
able to
one.
kill the Snapfire, and there is that Storm Spirit, and the Anti-Mage is finally dead. And the Anti-Mage is tanking up. The Storm Spirit is...
It's actually Wraith King who died, and he's heading back to Brewmaster, who has used his second split already, out of mana. Is there gonna be a mana void coming in soon? Actually, Anti-Mage has good pull
that's
by
a really
Storm
nice
Spirit.
electric vortex coming out from the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, he's so low, and he's gonna use a Spirit Vessel. And a time lapse comes out. He actually uses a TP. Is there a Rod of Atos from Weaver? No, it's on cooldown. So unfortunately, Anti-Mage is back to base. Off they go. I really thought, they actually caught Anti-Mage over there, but he turns his Satanic on and fights back. So I just realized, oh yeah, he's actually very strong.
Oh, there is that jump coming out from the Storm, but they don't have any vision.
BKB gets used by the Storm Spirit actually. He
Oh,
does
that's
want
a
to
nice
come in on
charge.
that kill.
I think the
Bad
Spirit
kill.
Breaker is going to solo kill him. Oh, they're trying to bust up the Storm Spirit, and the Storm Spirit
Yeah, they
is
know the
actually
BKB is
dead.
on cooldown, so they actually managed to kill off the Storm Spirit. Apparently, there is a small amount of lag, and it's not that small because we see the Storm suddenly dead. And there was a huge lag, but that's fine, I think. You definitely get some kind of huge mana
they are
void.
trying to control the Anti-Mage, and here is the Weaver, and the Wraith King is about to die.
The Wraith King
And
actually
can
has
they...
anti-shard, so he's
Yeah.
gonna spawn again. Is Anti-Mage gonna use Satanic now?
Oh, the Anti-Mage is dead. The Spirit Vessel is put into good use. They're trying to chase everyone now. And the Ogre is
Yeah.
just trying to take their attention so that his course survives.
He actually manages to do that successfully, and Spirit Breaker right away makes a go back to his own jungle. And I see Snapfire pushing bottom bit by bit, using his neutral creep, Scatter Blast. Do you think like Radiant can possibly make a comeback in the game, especially with Roshan on one of the heroes like Queen of Pain or Brewmaster?
Yeah,
Certainly feels like a game in which both the teams should try to get Roshan before taking any objectives for the safety
oh,
securing
the Spirit
balance.
Breaker actually survived, but he decided to charge back and got stuck in the ice path. And he ends up dying along with the Snapfire. So
Yeah, the
the
match is
Radiant
heating
side
up so
are
much.
bringing the net worth close. I mean, the Dire side was up by 20,000 net worth, but now the net worth is coming to 13,000. So they have brought it back 7,000. In these fights
Tom
are
actually
looking
makes
really,
a
really
zip
good.
and catches the Queen of Pain. He's even gonna bottle the Illusion Rune. Actually gets Ice Path. He is out of mana. Is he gonna be able to live through this? He has a BKB. And since there is enough mana and there's BKB, he decides to use the BKB at the very last moment. Just when the Wraith King's turn was about to connect. Oh, he's almost dead. And yes, he is. There is some huge amount of misplays coming from the Dire side. But if they get the Wraith King here twice, they should be able to kill him. The Spirit Vessel is stopping the Anti-Mage from getting enough heal on the Satanic. The first life is dead. Would he be... Oh, he actually uses his BKB and the Scatter Blast is off the mark anyway. A Bloodlusted Anti-Mage should still be able to kill the Wraith King. I'm not sure if Wraith King is
Oh,
in
the
right
Wraith King's
spot,
first
and he
life has been
right-
used. They are able to control. The Wraith King was too deep.
Yeah, Wraith King just felt like he has the support of the Weaver, but the time lapse was on cooldown. And that's something the Dire used to their advantage. They even get the kill on the Queen of Pain. He's actually farming the neutral camps with Mortimer's kisses. Pumpo is actually clever man, making efficient plays and efficiency on with his ultimate. And Anti-Mage decides to head back to the Roche pit straight up.
So the Anti-Mage is leading the chance right now, followed by Wraith King, and then we have Storm Spirit, and then the other cores.
And if the Wraith King gets time-lapsed at the right moment, then they decided to take the fight below the tier 2 tower at mid, like just 2 minutes ago. Could have been a different story right now, but it's all about positioning. And Roche falls. Are they gonna give the Roche to Spirit Breaker or somebody else? Queen of Pain actually all chants Roshan. I guess it's just Caster's call. They actually allow the Storm Spirit to pick it up. And they zip on top of the Panda Brewmaster splits. They are actually gonna try to kill him straight up. The Aghanim Shard is gonna allow them to be disarmed with the Void Ruling. Ice Path actually stops the Spirit Breaker as well as Storm Spirit. He actually blinks out to safety. So Brewmaster's fine. He's not gonna die. Not today. We see some aggressive pushing coming from Dire's side straight up. They want to go into the mid lane and hit down this tier 2 tower, which has been standing for so long. Weaver is meanwhile making a split push play at bottom and trying to get some damage done on the tier 2 bottom tower.
They are all getting the objectives. I mean, they have the ages, they can do it. And there is that fight in the middle. I mean, this Snapfire already has.
Yeah, he just uses charge and ultimate casually on the Queen of Pain, so that another Brewmaster split gets forced out. I guess he's just trying to poke them or force some kind of BKBs or ultimates out, which he did manage to do. I like how the Brewmaster has still decided to stick to the Blast Drake. It's a good item. It can allow you to soak up more damage from Spirit Breaker and Snapfire. So that's interesting. Even Jakiro has Ice Path, so his length is gonna be a bit more thanks to the Psych Headband. Let's talk about the neutral items. We haven't discussed about neutral items at all. What do you think about the neutral items? There's gonna be new neutral items soon, tier 4s.
Yeah, I mean, tier 4 neutral items are going to be really valuable at this point when they are just about to push the high ground and these people are going to defend. I mean, the Radiant have to defend